Pro Group Racing presents Show Us Your Tips. Beaver and Daggy with you to look at Winx Stakes Day, the first Group 1 of the new racing season. And we're joined by a special guest and friend of the show, Trent. What's going on, Trent?
Not much at all, Daggy. Getting stuck in a bit of form. But the big races are back and the spring's in the air, I guess.
Bit of spring back in your step as soon as you see some of the good horses back. It doesn't take much, does it, to get from
Absolutely
a wet sand down to a dry spring track?
I was getting sick and tired of some of those winner horses, I'll tell you.
Yeah, especially when they just go round and round and round again.
Yeah.
Beaver, how are you travelling, mate? How's the midweek meet?
Yeah, pretty good, mate. Can't complain. It was exciting when you open up the form guide and you start flicking through the races and you see some of the names crop up and you're like, oh, this is good.
Time to get excited again.
So, it was good that. Yeah, get excited again because, some of that garbage stuff that we have been watching. Luckily enough, we've still been picking some winners. Midweek was a little bit all over the place, a little bit tough. Some really disappointing horses, I thought, there.
Yeah, there's a couple of the ones I've maybe given an extra chance to that I'm happy to pen now. And a couple that we found that'll springboard off those runs as well. So a horse like Fire, I think, can win this prep.
Sandy Prince was good.
Yeah, very good. The track swung around just enough for Sandown by the end of the day, but it was definitely on pace for the first half of the card. So we sort of...
King of the North was a bit ordinary, but Doomben was a write-off, absolute write-off.
How can you... Yeah, tough getting to the stage where I'm nervous punting in Queensland with the State Eagle Farm, and then Doomben's very, very on pace lately as well.
Yeah. And anyway, let's talk about better racing.
Let's get to some spring racing. Randwick, the rail is into the true. It is a good track, not much wind around. How are you anticipating it's going to play, Trent?
I've got it playing pretty fair, I think. Yeah, they'll all get their chance, I reckon. I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, I've treated similar, Beaver.
Yeah, I think that's about right. Every horse will get its chance here. Some big fields. I think that there's a lot of races here where the number of chances look a little bit thin. So there's some long tails to some of these races, even with big fields. But we'll talk more about that when we get into each race.
Yeah, I'm sort of keen to take on a couple of spooks later in the program, but we'll get to them. We do kick off with the highway though, which is over the 1100 metres, and I've passed on this. Beaver, have you had a play?
No, thank you, mate. I've left the highway again, as we normally do.
What about you, Trent?
While Trent's up the highway here, he might have some ideas for us.
I think there's two hopes. I think Battleground's the clear favourite. Peter and Paul Snowden, formerly trained now with Matt Dale, was good in a Saturday race, first up and back to the highway grade, so he's going to be competitive. The one that I think's over the odds is Baby Wong, from the 2-year-old form. Couple of things I like here: gets well forward, has Nash, a little freshen up, and gets the dry track. So I think there's only two hopes, and I'm pretty keen to bet, actually. Battleground, obvious favourite, but Baby Wong's the one I want to be backing.
Yeah, cool. Just a note on Nash, we haven't heard whether he'll be riding or not. He he fractured his foot at Hawkesbury today, so we're waiting to hear.
Yeah, I did see that. I'm here. My word is that he will be riding.
Yeah, I think he's keen to. So he's just waiting for clearance now. But the mail was that he's trying to get clearance. He's not trying to be anywhere else on Saturday, I suppose. We keep the fun rolling with the 2400 metre benchmark 78, the second of the day. Beaver, what are you doing here?
Yeah, I've gone for shuffle up here, mate. I think its last three starts have been good enough to win a race like this. I'm not sure if Red Stancer will start in this, but even if it does, I think that just helps the price with shuffle up. I think it's drawn to get a really nice run here. Like the way it hit the line last start, and none of these horses are any better than what it's been beating and taking care of. So shuffle up for me.
Yeah, I was the same. Sort of pretty obvious, actually. It owned Twillica last start. I know it had probably Kenzo in its favour a little bit there, but it owned it. And Red Santa, I almost thought Red Santa didn't run the distance in 2000, so I don't know what 24 is going to be any better for it. I'm not quite sure where it's going to end up, but I was happy around the price to be playing shuffle up as well. Trent, what about yourself?
Make that 3. Yeah, I think shuffle up is the one. Red Centre's been up for a while now. Melbourne, Sydney. I think it's obviously got a good chance. I've got Shuffle Up favourite though. If there is one that will run a race at odds, I think Montabot. B. Abdullah made that mid-race move last start, which was far from ideal, I think, and that'll bring it on a bit. And with a bit of a cozier run with Jay Collett, it can run into the place, I think. But Shuffle Up had the 2,400 metre run, nice setup, will run well.
Yep, trial since.
Yeah, I'm hoping Red Santa starts, because I think if Red Santa scratch Shuffle Up starts, even money.
You're probably right. Yeah, I'm happy for Red Santa to be here as well. The mile midway benchmark 72, as they always are, is race number 3. How have you found the midways since they've come into being, Trent? Is something you like playing in, or?
They're always pretty open races. I tend to like trying to find the Saturday form rather than the midway form. But they are often pretty tricky events.
Yeah, I think they're better than highways, put it that way. And occasionally you get it suits some of these mid-sized stables like your Portellis and Hickmans that if they have a hot horse can sort of get a win on the way through and you can follow.
I think at the moment you're seeing a lot of those sort of, older type horses that just go around every week. But I think in about 6 or 12 months that you'll start seeing a few more lightly races where they start getting set for these races at their 3rd, 4th or 5th start. And that's when I think we can pounce.
Yep. Yeah, no, good call. What are you pouncing on here?
Top weight Monegal. As I said, back from the Saturday grade, which I like here. 3rd up and just drawing a nice gate where I can think it can sit a pair or two closer. And the other one, number 2, Amaretti, forgive last run on the wet. Trial since, back to dry, and is a Saturday horse as well. So they're the 2 chances elsewhere, but playing the top 2 at good odds.
So you're going away from that Newcastle lead-up, obviously?
Yeah, looking for the Saturday horses.
Yeah, I was with Monegal, obviously fresh. I don't know, maybe a bit disappointing last time, so went around it here. I thought of ended up finding Arctic Thunder here. I think it's got a better turn of foot than a lot of these. The Kenzo win was nice enough. It is a lot of Kenzo form coming to actual Randwick, which I seem to have found, which doesn't help. From Monegal, and I thought Metro Legend, the former Catanabia, was the other one that is probably looking for further now. It was a bit flat last time, but I think is still better than a lot of these. So they're the 3, all around double figures, aren't they too? Where am I here?
How do you change your name mid-prep or mid?
I have no idea.
I just don't get it.
I don't know how they're allowed. You shouldn't be allowed to do it at all.
I was so confused. I'm like, who's this Metro Legend again?
It jerried when I was doing the replay. I was watching the replays trying to find it, and then it jerried that it was the wrong colours and the wrong name. But it's the former Catanabia. So there's that. Beaver.
Yeah, I've gone for Arctic Thunder as well, mate. It had some good form, and then it was really impressive last start. It had a really nice run and pulled to the outside, and as you said, showed a really good turn of foot. I think the $5 is a nice price with Tommy Berry aboard. Gets drawn to get a really nice cozy run here, and I think if it can produce a similar finish, I think it'll be too strong for these. And I marked the best danger as Foxborough. First up last start, I think you can forgive its first up run. Didn't see much daylight till really late, and I thought it hit the line okay. So, but yeah, I'm keen to back Arctic Thunder here, mate. I think it's a nice bet.
Cool. The 4th is a benchmark 78 again over the mile. A lot of our old favourites, and it was nice to see Bazooka win a race today at Hawkesbury. Didn't that warm our hearts? But what are you doing here, Beaver?
Yeah, I was steering clear of the favourite. I thought it was a little bit skinny at around the 6 to 4. It's got some nice form for a race like this, but I went for the fresh horse Pesto. Thought it could be a really nice, get a really nice run from the inside draw around the $7.58 mark. Last preparation, ran a really nice second behind Mr. Dependable. Probably looking for a little bit further than this, but fresh up. Has won a race before first up, and I think also its form coming from overseas is pretty good. So yeah, I think it's 1600 first up's not a bad assignment.
Is the favourite's price, we'll go to Trent first, map based, do you reckon? Or is there
It
enough
is.
spruik about this?
It's just a stupid price. It's got no form. It's got Waller and it's got McDonald. That's about all it's got, I think.
Yeah.
I think it'll start 350, 5-2.
Yep.
But then again, there's not much with form. I think there's number 6, Cognac's a horse that I really like. And I've just been waiting for this horse to A, get up over a trip, and B, get to the front on a dry track. If it can get those things in its favour, then it'll win. J Parr's a good booking, I think, to go forward. It is drawn out though, but if it gets to the front, it will run well. And the other one is La Grisa. This horse flies fresh. If they are running on, 30-1 is massive odds. It's the best horse in the race. It goes well fresh. But it was a little bit disappointing towards the back end of last prep. But I'm just saying fresh only for La Grisa.
No, fair enough. I at the price just decided that Where Falls bowled in last time was strong through the line. Outside gate here, you want to see him be able to run on by this time. If it's not mad leaders at Randwick, which I don't think it will be, and you're getting $12, and I'm probably going to have something on Badush again because I have issues and it'll find trouble and run third again. So that's the way I sort of found them. I just thought and it's even shorter now. I thought Love Planet was a silly price, unless I can only assume, as I said, they're giving J Mac a loose lead. Race number 5, the 1200 metre benchmark 78. The problem with these 10 race cards is there's just a lot of bloat. It feels like early in the day these times. It's
a nightmare.
It's just a chore to get through the first half of some of these cards. The 1200 metres though, where I'll kick us off here. But I thought More Profits was a decent enough return. Got back to last, and instead of trying to barge through, just tried to casually get to the outside. I think part of that was being first up. Once it got space, it hit the line pretty well. J-Mac goes on for Huey. Did Huey ride it first up? Yes, for Karen. J-Mac goes on, blending run here, and I think second up will run better. Main dangers for me, well, Love Tap's the interesting one. I've just got a feeling it might be gone. When it's bucking in trials and doing weird shit, it's just it might not be with us. So the dangers for me, I went looking for the couple of blue colours there, Geist and Tamerlane, if I thought there was going to be a danger. And even Fast Coney at $12 is probably overs in this race. What are you thinking, Trent?
If you told me that Best Stone was going to lead, I'd be on it.
Mm-hmm.
I like it drawn out with Nash. He can just come straight across the face, but the one that's a stupid price, and I'm going to go to as far as saying would almost start favourite here, is Geist.
Mm-hmm.
The 3-year-old form is superior. It is got a turn of foot. It's got a low draw, which may be a little bit sticky if it's 3 or 4 back on the inside, but it's got a powerful finish, nice soft trial. It's the best horse here. Will start close to favourite.
Big call. I like it. Beaver.
Yeah, I went for Geist as well. I like it fresh. I think exactly what Trent said there. I think it's form last preparation is stronger than this. These are sort of midweek horses trying to sort of come through the grades. And it's ran some really, really, good races, only beaten by short distances to some fairly decent horses. It ran third in a race behind Matchmaker and Marbusha, who's backed up with that form. So I think it can run really well fresh. I like the way it trialled. It wasn't extended. I think it could be primed for a first up tilt. And I thought Nags to Riches was the biggest danger. I thought it was pretty good last start. Time was good, and the way it finished off was impressive. It gets a 2 kilo claim, which I think really suits it. Gets in at a nice weight at 53. So I think these two horses will figure in the finish here.
The Darley Silver Shadow Stakes over the 1200 metres. Group 3 for the fillies gets us into the good stuff. Now, 4 moves ahead, Beaver, we'll start with you, is around even money. I didn't think the trials were any good. I was a bit disappointed in the trials. Are you happy to take that price? Are you looking elsewhere? What are you doing with this horse? Obviously, it started favourite in the slipper, bolted in first 2 starts, but it's just got to. I don't know. I might be overthinking this. What have you done here?
Yeah, I've gone for 4 moves ahead just because I don't know that there's much quality in the rest of them, to be totally honest. It looks clear cut better than these. I don't think it needs to be at its best. I think it can be at. I think this course can be at 80% to beat most of these. I just don't. I just couldn't find the danger in it. $2, you probably get out to 220. I think that's probably a fairly straightforward bet for me.
Trent, what have you done here?
I think it wins. Yeah, okay. I think it wins. Adaptable, can go forward, can take a sit, wet, dry, Nash. And I think one thing also is John Sargent's just not a 2-year-old trainer. Like, I just think it's going to come on. Three-year-old fillies are his go, and now this is her prep. The only one that I think's improved dramatically would be maybe number 2, Glistening. It's shown good speed in the trials. I wouldn't say the trials have been amazing, but like the fact it's got right up on its speed in some pretty handy trials, and has drawn gate 1, so can just suck along there. But I think 4 moves ahead just wins, and I don't think it'll be getting out to a much better price.
Is 4 moves ahead potentially the poster child for the 3-year-old girls this year? Then you're looking at getting to the Vinery and the Oaks with Sargent, or is that that'll be next autumn. Sorry,
probably the Flight Stakes.
Flights and the other one, whatever the mile is. Jamea, I thought the trials were great. It was unlucky when it probably nearly should have beaten Arcaded last time, and then went out with a big win into Percy Sykes. Both trials were good. Tommy Berry's been with it all the way through, or the last couple of rides, and I think I'm happy to see. I'm interested to see which way the market heads, because I'd probably be happy to back Jamea. Whether it's backable to even save on 4 moves ahead, I'll decide. But I was just a little bit worried about the second trial where it was ridden out, but it was against older horses first time and that sort of thing. So I take your point, Beaver, that there's probably not something else he's got to actually beat it for it to get beaten. So there's that too. But Jamea from 4 moves ahead for me. The Show County Quality is race number 7, first leg of the quaddie, where we get some of the sprinters back, a couple of 3-year-olds here, and Private Eye back from Queensland. Beaver, how are you looking at this race?
Yeah, really nice race with plenty of chances here. It's $5.50 the field, and there's about 10 horses that are sort of between that $5 and $15 mark. So lots of options, lots of horses with some good form here, some resuming. I have gone for Private Eye purely on the basis that it's a horse I really like. Again, I think from gate 5 here, can get a really good trail in the running line here, just off the speed, sort of midfield. And I think if that's the case, I think it's got the most powerful finisher out of all of these horses. Private Eye for me, thought the main danger was Embracer. Freshened up for this race, will go forward and might give them something to catch.
Trent, what are you doing?
Probably nothing here. It looks impossible for me. I don't like the Fobiter race though, the Chat Hightail race. Punch Finish and Fasika and Colding, I thought were both disappointing. I've always liked Chat as a horse, but just coming out of that race is a bit icky, I think. Splintex is probably the best horse here, but I think it's past its best now. Viridine's got none. Then there's horses like Ice Bath, Rock, who have ability but probably don't look best set up here. Prime Star, I think 1200 is its go. I think it's a sprinter, not a middle distance or miler type of horse. And Halal, I think the 3-year-olds I think are pretty strong this year, and it was first one out of the gates in its 2 trials. So we definitely didn't see that in its first prep. So in Private Eye also there has a
Halal's accepted in Melbourne too, isn't it?
Yes.
Is Halal also nominated for Melbourne?
It is, in the Jigsaw race.
I think
it'll be interesting to see where it goes. Yeah.
So I'm not saying anything at all really. No bet.
Yeah, the couple of points I made, I'm similar to you, and I don't necessarily like the race. I could probably back the 3-year-old here. Halal. Just because I think some of these older horses aren't necessarily with us. Ice Bath Grand Overs because it'll be dry and everyone thinks it's a wet track, and it's fresh runs. The last couple of preps have been pretty good, without being given every chance. And at 15, probably get 20s on the day. I can have something on. Embrace the trialled well, as Beaver said, and Chat's now third up. I know there's a knock on that Colding race, but it's still run pretty well there, and it's been honest all prep. If nothing else is here, it's third up Nash, and will be in the finish, I'd say. So they're the three I was looking at. I don't know if I've been tainted a bit by that one bad run by Private Eye in Queensland, but it's honest, and it'll probably run well again. But if I'm going to bet here, I'll be looking probably towards the Ice Bath, Trats, and Embraces all around double figures.
What starts favourite, boys? Let's have a pick.
Private Eye will start favourite.
I could almost see Chat starting favourite,
I'm saying Prime Star.
Really? Is there a feeling Prime Star's a wetty? It's also, I think
it's going to be heavily backed. I think it'll start favourite, but I don't think it's. I think it's not much of a horse, but I just think I can just see him off the trials. They say, well, it's trials. Well, every prep.
Yeah, so. That's right, and it's got it's just for me tainted by all that English restricted stuff. But once you're in there, the sales stuff, it won $1 million nothing race, and then it got beat by Rocking By.
Last prep.
Yeah, exactly.
If it didn't win that race last prep, it never win one again.
And it might be a wetty. Like I said, has a reputation of being a wetty too, off shitty English races. But anyway, let's get to a Group 1, which is the Winx Stakes over 1,400 metres. Group 1 weight for age. Won last year by Very Elegant. 3 years before that were all won by Winx, where I will say that the lack of pace here doesn't just set up for the best turn of foot, which is Very Elegant. Isn't this a pretty simple race that it's arguably the best horse in Australia, in the top 3 or 4, let's say, and Colding was a bit disappointed, but I think Colding will improve out of its skin second up and might be set for this being the Waller Group 1 for it. But apart from that, the only other horse I would back out of Very Elegant is I'd have something on Mount Popper at 40s. It might sit leaders back. It might be a good horse. The rest of them, I'm half sick of all of them. So that's how I'm looking at it. Hungry Heart will need a run, maybe further, maybe that 3-year-old form's no good. So for me, Very Elegant from Mount Popper, let's say. What are you doing, Trent?
I can't back Very Elegant. Obviously hardest to beat. The bone dry track is a slight concern. I just cannot believe the price of Brandenburg here. Coming off the Brisbane, so it's only had a very short spell. Its 2 trials have been enormous. And every run since it's been gelded, this horse has absolutely flown. Forgive its first 2 runs last prep, ran up their asses the whole time, both first and second up. And it's a 12, 14, 1,600 metre horse at its best. The likes of Think It Over, Cascadian, Colding even, and Very Elegant are all doing their best work over 2,000 in my opinion. Brandenburg, I think, is the one that can go forward, albeit drawn wide, but can press forward. And I'll be surprised if it's not in the finish here. So Brandenburg's, I think, is a good place bet around that $9, $10 mark. I'll be surprised if it's not running a good race.
Beaver.
$3, the best horse in Australia against this lot is not bad value.
No.
I just can't see how Very Elegant doesn't win. It's an adaptable horse. It can take off early. It can maintain a sustained run. Not many in this race can do that. We've raced against last prep. It was racing in 2 horse races, and it was starting even money.
Yeah.
A DB, right? So some of these, Colding is the second favourite and was very, very ordinary and very flat last start. It's getting older and long in the tooth. It'll have to improve out of its skin, possibly can, and then you're going through some horses that are, not anywhere near Very Elegant's class. Good track, but I think Very Elegant showed last preparation. It's an adaptable horse that will perform well on any track, and best horse in Australia at $3 against some horses that may not win a race this preparation, or unless they get out to a lot further. Horses like Hungry Heart, I think you're right, Mount Popper, I think they're looking for much further for a race like this. Brandenburg, as Trent mentioned, I think it's got a sneaky chance with some good form behind Zaki. But yeah, I'd be surprised if Very Elegant got knocked off in this.
Fair enough. Nothing more to add here, boys. So, and maybe the fact...
Just one thing, I don't think Mwanga will win a race again.
I was going to say this. Doesn't Mwanga start 20s here?
Yeah.
It's gone. It was never a horse, but it's gone. And maybe when we've both found one at 40s, which I thought the same about Brandenburg, maybe that's an indication Very Elegant is the one to zoom in on there.
That's my point. You're getting $2.90 Very Elegant because Mwanga's $7 or $8 third favourite in the market. Like, please.
Colding Mwanga. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The second and third favourites are false price in the market. They shouldn't be $5 and $7. So, really, Very Elegant should be $2.10, and they should be probably $9 and $10.
I'd say if this was second up a mile.
Could be proven wrong.
No, you're right, because if this same field went around second up a mile, Very Elegant, it probably starts $1.80 in 2 weeks. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, fair enough. The toy show for the fillies and mares is a Group 3 race number 9 over 1,100 metres, and this is a race. Some fresh form, it's all pretty much fresh form actually. Plenty of pace here over 1,100. What are you doing, Beaver?
Yeah, it's a beauty, isn't it? A great race. You've got some really good horses resuming here that were impressive last preparation. I loved the way Entrevue it's run its second before it went out. I did back it, so probably a little bit biased there, but I think this horse has got plenty of ability. The 19 gate's a little bit of a concern. Hopefully a few scratchings, but it was wide all the way in that race and still ran on and looked like it could win. So I think it's super hard to beat. I thought Never Talk could be hard to beat. I think if there's enough pace on and they're running on from middle to back of the field, it'll get back and run on and probably has a powerful enough finish to run over the top of these. That was sort of the two that I was sort of playing.
What are you doing, Trent?
Well, this is probably one of the fastest races I've seen in a long time. Yeah. And for that reason, I just think that Entrevier might just have a little bit too much to do from the draw. And it was 4 or 5 wide the trip on its first Australian run, but that was the place to be that day. And the track was pretty sting out there, so it's a firm track here. Conceder's got a chance, but I'm surprised the price of Forbidden Love here. Like, I think Forbidden Love is clearly the best horse here. It goes well fresh, and I think the pace on will really suit it. And the other one is the good old Lesbridge Seasons. Not really a horse that I'd normally find, but again goes well fresh. And I think if I could pick one horse here that would get the best run, I think Seasons is the one.
Yeah,
it was really good. First and second up last preparation as well, particularly second up at Braindham. It was a really good win at Kensington. $23 is a good price, Seasons.
Yeah, well, from that gate, it's gonna, when you got Written Beauty, Valami, Lilymore, Volpine, who else have I missed here? All rolling forward. Beaver, is someone dying at your house?
It's just
everything all right?
It's rumbling.
Okay.
I think so.
Hostages aren't getting restless.
No, I think it's the 14-year-old bashing the 17-year-old.
Fair enough. Great news. Trial was fantastic too. They've thrown everything at it. Did it really open $34, Trent? That's the opening fluck here. Looks to be, well, it's into whatever, 13 now.
$34, yes.
I'd happily have taken that. Can still probably entertain that. From Forbidden Love, who you mentioned, for everything you've said there. I do think Entrevier is a good horse, and maybe this pace will suit perfectly. J-Mac, Gate 19. They're the 3. Happy as well to play Seasons. This is a good leg for the quaddie because I'm happy to throw in 4 at 20s and see how we go. But
well, you got to leave the 3 favourites out, don't you? You can't have Entrevier, can't have Tellier, can't have Written Beauty.
No. can't have who else is in the market?
And you can't have Fitous.
Another life I would have been keen on Fitous, but we've seen that, and the jockey leaves me a bit cold these days.
I suppose you can have on Trivio. I'll give you on Trivio.
Yeah, widest runner. It'll get to the outside fence by this time on this pace. J-Mac will be looking good out there. Let's wrap up the day. 400 metre benchmark 88 takes us home. And how are you taking us home, Trent?
I am going home after race number 9, I think.
Okay, fair enough.
I'll leave this one to you, boys.
I didn't overthink it. I just thought Mado Okapi's flying, been strong through the line twice. Its last two. Josh Parham's going to be pretty close to the speed here. And it is at $10 is a bet. I think it's going to run well again. Interested to see what this tissue has under its under race conditions. Trials were good. It's another one that's come from New Zealand. And you've mentioned Ventura Ocean first up, and I think it'll be much better for that run and run well here. Got to give a shout out and good luck to Pat, who's got a bit of ownership in it. So good luck to him. Beaver, what are you doing?
I went for a tissue.
Okay.
I went for the New Zealand horse. Fell for the trap last week, Daggy, where you tipped Elephant and said that they bring him over. They've got to have a bit of ability. Well, Wallace brought this into his stable from over in New Zealand with some pretty good form, winning by a couple of races by big spaces. This isn't an overly strong race. So if it gets the right run, I think it can be the hardest to beat. And certainly anyone that backed Ventura Ocean first up, there was a lot to like. The way it hit the line, stepping out to the 1400 here will suit. And again, drawn well enough to get to the middle of the track here. But a tissue for me in the last.
Very good. Who wants to drive the quaddie in Sydney this week?
You can have a go,
mate.
Mate.
I'll do it, unless Trent's really keen.
Negative.
All right, let's kick off in the first leg, race number 7, with 3 Ice Buff, 5 Chat, 7 Halal, 8 Private Eye, 10 Embracer. Have I missed anyone there?
All good.
No.
What do we got here? 9 Brandenburg, 10 Mount Popper, 12 Very Elegant. 1 Entreviere. Oh, did I miss one? 2 Forbidden Love, 4 Seasons, 7 Great News. And I even had 3 looks at Dunbrody Power if it gets a start, but that might do us for now.
16 Never Talk.
All right, 16 Never Talk, and we'll come home with...
Dunbrody Power.
Yes. 6 Mado Okapi, 8 Big Boy Roy, 9 Ventura Ocean, 12 A Tissue. Maybe 2 New Arrangement. What do you reckon?
Negative.
That'll do. All right, for progritracing.com.au, check out Progrit Racing for their free tips and extensive guides, your best and value at Randwick, Beaver.
Yeah, my best is race 8, number 12, Very Elegant. Thanks for coming. And my value bet's race 4, number 2, Pesto.
I struggled to find a best, so I'm going to make it Very Elegant as well. Very hard to get beat off that slow pace. My value will be Mado Okapi in the last. And Trent, what are you doing?
3 bets for me. Geist, race 5, Geist, race 1, Baby Wong, and Brandenburg in the feature.
Very good. Let's head down south.
All value.
What's that?
All value from young Trent.
That's all right. That's what we like about him. We head to Moonee Valley where the rail's true. There's a little bit of rain around tomorrow, but it should be just enough to get it into a nice dead track for all of us. So true Moonee Valley with a bit of sting is probably down the outside by the end of the day, but we'll wait and watch with that. We kick off with the 1,200 metres for the 3-year-olds, and I'll lead us away where I think race 1, number 1, can get us off for a decent start. Zapateo broke through at the track for the blue colours last start, and happy to be with it again around a $5 mark. Beaver.
Didn't really have a pick here, mate. This was a tricky affair. Hard to line up some of this form. The favourites hasn't started before, but from the Freedman camp and the other 2 or 3 that sort of next in the market have been running well. So, yeah, I couldn't split them.
Got anything for us here, Trent?
Nope.
The second of the day is the benchmark 84 again over the 1200 metres. Beaver, you got something?
Yeah, I went for the top weight. Nalakorn resuming. Has a decent enough record. First starts, won a race and 2 seconds. Last preparation was really good in some really good races. Sort of only failure was against Bo Rosser. I think might have been the Goodwood, was it? Or whatever it is now called.
It was one of the lead-ups.
Yes, it was, or a lead-up race. But prior to that, ran a really close second to Yes Baby Yes, close second to La Mexicana, and Zesty Bell before that. So for me, that's pretty good form for a race like this.
Anything here, Trent?
I think Love Sensation will run well off the good 3-year-old form. So Barry 1 hopefully can posse up and run well.
I liked Malacorn's trial coming back from the Honest. Well, did found a bit of trouble before it went out, but the prep before was very good fresh. I think you can get a bit of control here and was happy to look that way as well. And you mentioned Love Sensation, who will run well here. Another 1200 metre benchmark 90.
Trent, just before we go on, you probably haven't heard the story of poor Daggy's better half last Saturday. She entered the racing.com pick 7 and had the first 6 in and was going for the 100 grand in the last, and she had the favourite La Mexicana.
For only one in Australia. And
only in Australia, she would have took that. She would have taken the 100k.
Whole pot. Yeah, she was shaking before the race, everything.
Did you get some out of it on the fee?
No, sat and watched. I didn't want to mock it.
Beat.
We're watching racing.com and it was sidewalking and clippy clopping and didn't want to be there. I thought about it. You know what? If she's gonna win Lotto, she's gonna win Lotto. Otherwise, I didn't even back the winner. I can't even remember what I backed. I think I didn't back Pintoff. I backed something else. One of the other favourites, but that was about it. I just watched it.
That's a bad beat, isn't it?
Yeah. So she did well to get to there. So
yeah,
she's learning the joy of the punt the hard way. Now she knows why I've got so many issues in life. What are we doing here in the third?
All right. Yeah, I like Corner Pocket. For this preparation, 4 out of 4, and I think it gets control here again from the inside gates. It'll go straight to the front here, and on the bend will shoot away. And I don't see too many of these being able to challenge.
Yeah, I'm the same. I think Moonee Valley suits it. Honest, it got better as the prep went on last time. It'll greyhound around here, similar to one of the other horses we'll get to later in the day, and be very hard to catch. Interested to see front page if there's anything left of it. I assume it's coming back for another crack at the Kosciuszko or whatever it is. But yeah, Corner Pocket on top for me. Trent, anything to add?
Not many win 5 on the bounce. So I reckon you could find somebody to get a beat, but I haven't really looked into the race.
No, that's fine. I might leave you. You're more of a Sydney man, so I'll leave you just to chime in when you need to, okay? Is that fair?
Fair.
Not that I'm chiming in here over the mile benchmark 78.
You won't need to be very. Most of these that are in this race don't win much at all.
Exactly. Speaking of not winning much of all this race, Beaver, I don't like it at all. I want to see Cool do something this race, but it was pretty ordinary first up, and I just have a bit of a nick feeling about Chief Altony as well, and I couldn't find anything else, so I'll probably watch on. Did you have anything you wanted to play?
Yeah, look, tricky affair. I'll stick with Chief Altony. I've backed it sort of the last 4 starts, and it's won twice for me. I think it's got a little bit of ability. A couple of those races where the race where it ran 4th, it had no luck. Bit worried about whether it handled the firmer going last start, but it wasn't that far off them. So I'm willing to forgive that and at that price and stick with it.
And we'll get to race 5. The 2,500 metre benchmark 78. 2 hopes for me. They're pretty easy to find, but Smoking Roman's upgoing, has had the 2,500 metre run where it was dominant. Track and distance set up. I know it's 3 weeks between runs, but it will run well again here. And Heir to the Throne, who was very strong through the line, getting up to 24 again, ticks that box. Happy to play around both of those, and happy to take on Red Santa if it's here, because as I said, I just had a feeling it didn't run the 2,000 last time, so not much. I don't have much hope for it getting further, so we'll see how that goes. Anything from you, Beaver?
Yeah, I like Smoking Romans, mate. Just think it's in a real purple patch of form here. Like the fact that they've got the 3 kilo claim here, brings it into with 58, what it carried last start. Again, quite a versatile horse. It controlled the race here last start. Got out to the 2,500 and wasn't probably as dynamic as it was in the starts before, where it showed a real turn of foot, but just showed here that it can stay. Last time at Moonee Valley, so handles the 2,500, handles Moonee Valley, and again, this race isn't full of a whole lot of talent here. I think you're right. Heir to the Throne's probably the main danger.
The race number 6 starts at Quaddy. The group listed McKenzie Stakes over the 1,200 metres. The return of Halal if it's down here, taking on Jigsaw. Trent, how good's Halal, and could you back it in this sort of race?
Just looking, yes, I could. Yes, very much so. Hope it goes down to Melbourne. That's a good horse, and as I said, it's been showing some speed in its trials, so it'll win this and win comfortably if it goes down to Melbourne. But I don't think it will.
Yeah,
for some reason.
Well, the Hawks they did it with All Too Hard. They take that wait for age lead up. They try and get their horses racing the older horses and then bring them back to the to the Group 1s for the 3-year-olds. So.
It's a good horse. It's a good horse. It's a very good horse, Halal.
Yeah. Beaver?
Yeah, I like Halal in this race. I'd be surprised if it stayed in Sydney. I thought it would come down and look for the kill here and get a win under its belt. It'll be suited by Moonee Valley. It's drawn well, gate 5. And again, this looks a 2-horse race. So I think Halal here for me as well.
Yeah, if it's here, make it 3. If it's not, Jigsaw's probably immoral. It had to chase too far. It just got completely out of its comfort zone. Last time, Jigsaw had to chase hot speed and held on pretty well. Probably gets control and wins if Halal's not here to run it down.
If Halal's not here, it starts at $1.50.
Yeah, so I haven't said much there. So we'll all move on. The 2040 Randwick handicap is race 7. What are you doing here? Grant.
Yeah, I like Grand Promenade.
Okay.
It's just in outstanding form. I think, again, it goes forward here, controls the race. Art of Passance is obviously a horse that's showed plenty of talent, but first up, it's going to get back in the field. Grand Promenade's been sitting on pace, controlling the speed in races like this. I think around the $3.60 mark at the moment, second favourite. I think that's a really nice price and a really nice bet. And I like the rest of the field's garbage, to be honest. Mahamadeus and Pancho and Starcaster, look, can't see them beating Grand Promenade.
No, 2 hopes. You mentioned mine and the other. Heart of Passance was sharp enough to win a 900-metre trial. Coming back for this after 3 months off. So I was actually leaning the other way to Heart of Passance, but there's only 2 hopes. Just thinking that my thinking was a bit fresher over the 2000 and Grand Promenade might be, but yeah, they're the 2 chances. That's probably all I want to say about the race.
Yeah, I just think it might give it too much start. That was my concern around Moonee Valley. I think Grand Promenade's going to be right up on the pace, and I'd expect it to take off a bit earlier and probably try and make it into a bit of a staying test. Heart of Passance is going to have to give it 6 and run it down.
Do stablemates try and do that to each other, or just sit there and jiggy jog and run 1-2?
Oh, who knows? It's a good call.
Yeah. Anything here, Trent?
Nope.
1,000 metres. We'll get through this one nice and quickly. Oh, actually, yeah. Look, I've gone for Ancestry here in 1,000 metres. I'll explain what it is. Benchmark, whatever it is here. Listed race is the Winx Stakes. Ancestry will jump on the bunny, whip around Moonee Valley like it's done a few times before, and be very hard to catch. Trial was fine leading into this. Obviously, Miss Albania will be the danger, but I don't quite think it's, still a bit icky about that. The Miss Albania form. So Ancestry on top for me. What are you doing, Beaver?
I'm reversing it this mate. I'm going to go for Miss Albania. Thought it was strong through the line last start. Disappointing first up. Willing to forgive that. Bounce back to form last start, and I think he can just sit off the back of Ancestry. Ancestry is going to have to cross it, go around it. Miss Albania will sit there, and if there's any chink in Ancestry's armoury, Miss Albania will be finishing over the top.
Okay, yeah, no worries. We'll have a beer on that one. Trent, anything here?
I'm interested to see if Ballistic Lover runs here, actually.
It's the 1,000 metre horse, isn't it?
Yeah, fast horse, very fast horse.
Yeah. What price at? $4.20. So yeah.
Which I think if it does start, it'll actually play into the hands of Miss Albania, because the other two, Ballistic Lover will kick up. Ancestry will have to either sit outside it, or it'll be a bit of a speed race, and Miss Albania will probably just sit behind it.
Yeah, it's probably the only swooper here, isn't it, Miss Albania, really? Grey Worm was ridden a lot colder last prep at times, maybe, but we'll see how that
Well, they probably will from gate 10. Yeah. I don't think they'll go forward with Grey Worm with Ancestry and Ballistic Lover there.
And the last over the 1,500 metres, not another listed race at all. Whatever it is, a handicap here. Yeah, just a handicap to close the day. The horse I was looking at here, not necessarily for tip, but isn't it interesting how Defibrillate was going to be a world beater 6 months ago, and it seems to have fallen off a cliff. The trial was not great at all, but this time last year, everyone was talking about it as a Group 1 horse. De Grave's on top for me. Jamie Carr sticks off the win, and the bulk of this field aren't doing a great deal. Romance is still over the odds, and Groundswell will run well again. Now it's flying and it'll be on pace. That's about the race for me. Beaver?
Yeah, I went the same way there. I think there'll be pace on up front. Groundswell and Shot of Irish will probably make sure there's enough speed on here up front. That'll probably, from gate 4 to Graves, will probably just sit in behind them. The 1,500 suits, it'll hook out at the top of the Moonee Valley straight and swoop on by.
Anything to add, Trent?
No, I think Skyman's a good fresh horse. But Barrier 1 blinkers off. Leaves you a bit cold.
And blinkers off, not that intent, is there? It was second up, blinkers on last prep, I think, where it won, or if I'm remembering correctly. All right, for progroupracing.com.au, do you have a best in value, Trent?
No.
Excellent. Beaver, do you have something at best in value?
I do have, I don't have much in the case of value, because I think for most of the day there's only a few horses that are sort of in the market that can win. I think we might see the main horses take the prizes. I've gone for race 3, number 3, Corner Pocket, as one of my best bets, and I've also gone in race 9, number 11, De Graves. I think it'll be hard to beat, so I've sort of just gone those 2 bets. I think there's a couple other nice bets there as well.
Yeah, I went to De Graves, but as you've said, there's not a lot outside the market that I can really jump into. As I just click back here, maybe what have we got here? No, not a lot really. I want to say maybe Out of the Throne is a decent each way bet. I think we'll won't miss a place around the $3 a place there if you can still get $7 or $8. What do you got for us up north this weekend, Beaver?
Yeah, up north, a little bit tricky again. Some fairly average fields there. I mean, we were talking about it midweek. Champagne Auntie will win the first race, but at no real price. So no prizes for picking it to win. The other horses I had came up in race 5, number 3, McKenzie Cove. I think it can bounce back to the winning stall. And then in the last race, around the $4.50 mark, You Make Me Smile, resuming. I think it's hard to beat as well.
Trent, you got anything for us around the rest of Australia on the weekend?
No, I'm Randwick only.
Randwick only.
Saturday.
All right, the Sydney.
But You Make Me Smile. You Make Me Smile. Ex-J Quill.
Yes.
Quite a fast horse.
Second prep in Queensland. I think it broke through. It had a win in Queensland. Last prep as well from it off the top of my head.
Before they sent it out for a spell. And it beat a decent horse. She's the boss. So, and prior to that, ran a really close second to Socialising, which showed some ability and ran in some good races up there during the order. And Barrow trialled very nicely.
Perfect. So blinkers on for Trent. He's focusing on Sydney this Saturday. Thanks for joining us, mate. Good to see you.
Thank you, boys. Thanks for having me.
Good stuff. Thanks, Beaver.
No worries, mate.
And we will see everyone on good luck, good punting this weekend. Stay safe in lockdown all around Australia these days.
Thanks to Pro Group Racing as well, Daggy.
Yep, get that plug in. Do you want to do it?
No, I just did it, mate. It's up to you.
Yeah, check out Pro Group Racing for their free tips and extensive guides. And we'll talk to everyone for the midweek preview Tuesday night. Catch you then.